Hey, what's happening, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the greatest UFC upsets of all time. Which is the greatest? Is it the one we just saw over the weekend, Pena beating Nunes? Or is there another upset that trumps that? Alright, let's talk about some of them. I mean, probably the most famous upset in the UFC, Matt Serra versus Georges St-Pierre. That was a pretty big one. You got Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey. Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. Here's the big one, old school. Forrest Griffin versus Shogun Rua. V.I.P.N when he moved up to welterweight to defeat Matt Hughes. Keith Jardine versus Chuck Liddell. Man, there's a lot of fights that the result shocked people, upsets. But the biggest two for me, definitely Matt Serra, Georges St-Pierre, and Amanda Nunes, Julianna Pena. And I actually think that the Julianna Pena versus Nunes fight is the biggest UFC upset of all time. Like, I felt that more people thought that Nunes would destroy Pena than Georges St-Pierre destroying Matt Serra. Same thing with Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. Holly Holm and Rousey, I mean, I know there was like a big consensus that Ronda Rousey was just going to run through Holly Holm. I didn't think that. I actually predicted and I knew that Holly Holm was gonna knock Ronda Rousey out just based off of like a stylistic thing, skill set thing. I could find a pic somewhere if you don't believe me. But that one wasn't a shocker to me. Now, Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena, from reading the comments, the posts on social media, it looked damn near like 90% of people out there thought that Amanda Nunes was gonna crush Julianna Pena, including myself, just being honest. And it did look that way early on in the fight. Amanda Nunes was dominating, wasn't looking too good for Julianna Pena. Now, there are some reasons why I feel like Amanda Nunes lost that fight, contributing factors. Of course, Julianna Pena herself. You have to give credit to her. I made some other videos talking about that fight, not going to dive into that right now. But yeah, that was a pretty big upset to me, and I think most people. I didn't necessarily think Julianna Pena was going to take her down to the mat with ease. On the feet, I felt like she was going to get outclassed, battered, stopped. Now, this is like all subjective. I don't know if there's any numbers out there backing these claims up. Maybe through like analytics, some kind of polls, some information out there. There's a definitive answer, black and white, numbers wise, that Nunes Pena was the biggest upset. I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to do some research, but from, totally a subjective viewpoint, I think it was. Runner-ups, the three early ones that I mentioned, Silva Weidman, Holly Holm Rousey, Georges St-Pierre, Matt Serra. So for me, Nunes Pena in the runner-up, the next biggest upset, I think Matt Serra, Georges St-Pierre. No disrespect to Matt the Terra Serra. Absolute legend, highly skilled. But I think at the time, people thought that he had zero chance. Which is no such thing as zero chance in MMA. There is no such thing. Anyway, guys, you let me know in the comment section, was Nunes versus Pena the biggest upset for you? What are your personal feelings about that? And if not, which is the biggest UFC upset of all time? I mean, in mixed martial arts in general, there have been some big upsets. I could drop one from Pride FC, Kevin Randleman versus Crow Cop. But that might be for another video. Anyway, guys, really appreciate you guys watching the segment. If this is your first time at the channel and you enjoy the content, consider hitting that subscribe button, like and share. That helps the channel grow. Appreciate that, guys. And until the next segment, my friends, you all take care.